911 is a joke. Public enemy #1 I've been ranked. The rock's not crumbling. The leprechauns have magically run out of pranks. Your son on a federal jail line mumbling something about having too much in his drink. You know how dumb that is? Another one fumbled his, wonder how I get the blame. Niggas' teeth is tumbling out their mouth and somehow I'm the one who done it. It's a mystery gang. You had to cash cow and thunk it. What you bumped his, I'm the one who strummed the pain. That hill you can die on. It's way too much flack that comes from those planes. I'm killing them softly. What's understood don't need to be explained. You want it one way, it's the other. I steal on you suckers, I maul you niggas, gang. I ain't much for meetings, no how. Cancel the brunches, I remember the hunger pain. The price of the bricks going up. It's gonna cost you a beat to even say my name. You ever heard of a wonderkin? My children and some of them, have you niggas no shame? Y'all trying to get underskin? I really get underskin. Ask how I'm playing. Y'all thugs with y'all thumbs again. Everybody think they're the ones insane. You're no maniac. Watch y'all saniac in my presence, nigga shrink. I need a new therapist. This shit is not working. I'm truly on the brink. Y'all better not encourage him. Y'all don't want me to think these thoughts that I think. That nut ass nigga still stuttering. That chatty patty down on his luck again. Quest introducing me to Jaguar. I don't know why I still fuck with him.
What up, everybody? It's your boy Phil Risen. Welcome back to the channel. And as we know, Jay-Z just dropped a huge freestyle at the Roots Picnic. Let's talk about it, man. There are so many people in this freestyle that he's coming at. Comes at Dame Dash, he came at Kanye West, he came at Drake, of course, plus even Nicki Minaj. There's a lot of people in here, even I believe maybe a state property member or two as well too. So this whole thing has been crazy. Number one, I like it. You know, it's as far as if the freestyle is good, the freestyle is solid. You know what I mean? When I first heard it, it was a bit underwhelming. I'll be honest with you. I definitely was like, it's not that great. But as I listened to it over and over, I started to realize how dense the lyrics actually are. Honestly, my favorite part was the trying to get under skin part. Like, that shit was hot with the ask and everything. Like it says, you trying to get under skin, I really get under the skin. Ask how I'm playing. I believe was the dude that he stabbed in a nightclub years and years ago. So he's saying like, bro, you talk tough. I'm really about that. And this is aimed at Kanye. And you'll see in just a minute. And this is where it really tells you, because it goes, y'all thugs with y'all thumbs again. Everybody think they're the ones insane. You're no maniac. Watch how sane he act in my presence. Niggas shrink. I need a new therapist. This shit is not working. I'm really on the brink. Y'all better not encourage him. Y'all don't want me to think these thoughts that I think. Now, I thought this was really cool. Number one, just the rhyme scheme of it is incredible. I thought it was great. But this whole insane, you're no maniac, where it's like, bro, you're acting all tough when you get on the phone and you tweet all this crazy shit, right? Because you're some sort of hard guy, but then you act like you're crazy so nobody holds you accountable for this shit. You know what I mean? And, you know, sure, you acting crazy out here, but watch how you act when I'm around you. Then you act all regular and, you know, all cool, and you shrink yourself, you make yourself all small because you're my little brother. You know what I mean? So stuff like that I found was really, really good. And most people didn't really pick up on it at the time that it came out. But I really urge a lot of people to do your research with these rhymes, because they're really, really good. Where I got this from was obviously Rob Markman. He's been around for a while. People play his videos. I love his videos all the time. So if you're looking for a real lyric breakdown of this shit, watch this video, Jay-Z Roots Picnic, where he goes into the bars. You'll really like him. I gotta admit, I kind of forgot how good Jay-Z's pen is. I definitely still think he needs a lot more if he's going to be coming at Drake, who I think is the primary opponent here. Obviously, I mean, he just had a huge comeback with Iceman, Habibti, and Maid of Honor, and of course, you know, from his battle with Kendrick Lamar, right? So He's definitely the one, and he's the one who had the biggest amount of Jay-Z disses. I mean, the disses are all over Iceman. Not just for Jay-Z too, for like a billion different people. So this whole thing is really, really cool for me. I definitely think it's interesting. I like how it's also forcing Jay to go back into that hip hop role, because if I'm being real, I think for a long time Jay has just been a businessman, and that's cool, but at the same time, bro, you're a rapper. I like seeing people rap. I think we're over this whole idea of an age cap in rap. We definitely still believe that people should mature with their raps, but there was a time where if you were over 25, maybe 30, you just couldn't have a career. And I think Jay-Z has kind of tried to keep that idea alive. Like, oh, well, you know, I turned 45, I turned 50, so I can't rap anymore. He's talked about it before. You know, there's that white hot space of being a hit maker. And, you know, at some point you got to step away because you'll eventually lose being in that white hot space. I definitely think that's true. That is definitely true. People's interest definitely goes away. People have tried to be disinterested in Drake until this new album, right? So there's a lot of different truths to the things that he's saying when it comes to age and hip hop. That being said, I feel like Nas is a perfect example of how a rapper can age, you know? And I think this is one of those things that Drake is going to have to slowly understand as well, too. Yes, Iceman has sold a lot, and all the other records did really well as well, too. I mean, he's 1, 2, and 3 in the Billboard 200 for albums. I mean, that's incredible. I believe he's the first artist to ever do that. 42 songs on the Billboard top 100 as well too, and he's the first person to ever do that. The last one was Morgan Wallen, who had 37. So he's doing big things. He's still making hits, but there is going to be a time. It might not be now. It might not be even 10 years from now. But there's going to be a time where his popularity starts to really wane, not like internet discourse wane. Start to really wane, and I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing. And I just bring that up because I feel like Jay-Z is somebody who is most likely scared of that happening to him. So that's why he went fully into just business and way, way less hip hop. I also think too, Jay, he's a moneymaker. He's a hustler. He saw how much money hip hop can give to you and how many opportunities hip hop can give to you, but also how volatile hip hop truly is because of your look or some random thing you say. So I think he probably just decided to hedge his bets and leave when he was on the top, and then essentially just be able to come back whenever and kind of use his cachet to make him more money, which I don't really blame him for. That being said, man, you know, this battle, if it actually does happen between him and Drake, is gonna be an interesting one. We have to admit that. A lot of people want to talk shit about Drake, right? And he's not a real MC. He's not a real rapper, this, that, and the third. He had writers. He did this. He did that. There's a million things that are true about Drake. And honestly, even some of those things that I just mentioned are partially true about Drake. You know what I mean? But if he wasn't actually a rapper worth contesting, these people would not contest him. If he was really such a peon and such a child, then they wouldn't be looking at him to take down. And it's not just because of the purity of rap. It's because this nigga is actually good. I mean, you know, we were watching the Kendrick and Drake shit, right? When they were going back and forth with diss tracks, and everybody was glued to it. And if Drake was ass, you wouldn't be glued to it. You would have just known Kendrick was going to win, turned it off, and watched the basketball game or watch whatever you were watching at the time and not giving a fuck. Although this seems like a very, very bold move for Drake, and this seems like an easy win for Jay-Z, I think that this is going to actually be pretty beneficial to Drake, if I'm being real with you. There's a lot of things that Jay-Z does not want pulled out of his closet. Certain things in the industry went a certain way in the 90s, and we are out of that way, and we are holding people accountable for those actions. Let's just leave it at that, right? There's a lot of people, a lot of whispers about a lot of things, a couple mentions about Foxy Brown with certain things, right? All the things that Drake was getting accused of. Hove, as far as we know, as far as the rumors have been for years and years, he may have allegedly actively participated in those things that Drake was being imagined to do, right? So this is a very interesting fight, and actually, surprisingly, a more even fight than Kendrick Lamar and Drake, right? Because I think with Kendrick Lamar, you have a dude who is almost infallible in a certain way, in the same way that J. Cole is infallible. It's like they're both anomalies, J. Cole and him, right? They got married to their like high school sweethearts and shit. They're never out. They're never partying. They don't even make an excessive amount of party music, right? So there's really nothing about them that you can use to pull them down. Like there just isn't. There just isn't. What are you gonna say, that they're chill guys who don't go out at night? The fuck, nowadays we're into this whole salacious type shit, right? Where we want to hear the worst thing you can hear about a rapper, if they're abusive, if they did this, if they did that, right? But with those two guys, I feel like you just don't even really have that. Even the whole abuse claims with Kendrick Lamar didn't really hold much weight. And I don't think it was just because people liked him more than they liked Drake. I think it's just because his whole entire story of who he is kind of him being an upstanding person around crazy fucked up shit. Literally him being a good kid in a mad city. And abuse doesn't really fit with that, especially if you don't have hardline evidence about that. On top of that, Hove is pretty rusty. He hasn't really performed very often in the last few years. He hasn't written anything or come out with any songs in the last few years either. I mean, even this freestyle, yes, it's dense, yes, it is lyrical, and I do like it after hearing it a bunch. But when he first said it, I was like, that's nothing compared to what I was seeing on Iceman. You know what I mean? It's not aggressive enough, it's not out there enough. So there's a lot of things I think he needs to do to get back into fighting weight in order to take on a beef at this magnitude. I will also say too, man, I'm kind of exhausted by beefs. I'll be real. This whole Kendrick Lamar Drake beef, I feel, ruined hip hop for the last 2 years. Outside of their performances in it, it froze everything. It made everything be so incredibly binary, right? You could either be a Kendrick fan or a Drake fan. You couldn't be both. The internet discourse was awful because a bunch of people who don't know anything about rap are now on the internet talking about rap, rage baiting about rap just so they can get clicks and any sort of engagement possible. So it really, really, I think, hurt the genre, if I'm being real. And I kind of feel a little beefed out. Pause. Like, there's a part of me that does want to see this just because I feel like this is so incredibly full circle, right? I mean, I still remember in the song Fear when Drake said, I never cried when Pac died, but I probably will when Hove does. And that shit hit me when I was a kid. And I kind of felt the same way. And I still do now, right? But Drake, who knows if he does? And this is such an interesting thing to kind of dive into. I mean, it's definitely going to be a monumental historical event, I think. That being said, I'm also just kind of exhausted by the competition and the politics of all of it. All I want to do is talk about good albums, man. Why do we all got to be so mean? All I want to do is talk about good albums. But maybe that's just me. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Make sure to like, share, subscribe. I'll see you guys later. Peace.